If you're a writer, I bet you know this feeling. You've got a story, you've got passion, you've got characters, but something just isn't clicking. Well, today we're going to crack the code on why that happens. We are going to break down a really simple but totally game-changing insight that came from years of trial and error. Think of it like a master key that can unlock the structure of any genre you want to write. So let's just start with the big question, right? You pour your heart and soul onto the page, you finally get to type fade out. You finished a script. But is that sheer effort, that raw passion, is it actually enough to make a story work? It's a question every single writer faces. And trust me, the journey to find the answer is where the real learning begins. And that journey starts, down in the trenches, with what you can only really call brute force writing, a time of just immense passion and working like crazy, but with, well, a serious lack of direction. 4 years. Just let that sink in. That's how long this apprenticeship lasted. 4 years spent doing one thing and one thing only, filling that blank page. It was just pure, relentless practice, all fueled by this belief that just doing the work had to be the answer. And the ambition here was huge. We're not talking about sticking to one lane, no way. This was about jumping all over the map, from the high-stakes tension of a thriller to laugh-out-loud comedy to the deep emotional roller coaster of a melodrama, and then right back to explosive action, just trying to conquer them all at once. But here's the problem, right? Despite all that work, something fundamental was missing. It's like they had the engine, but absolutely no map. See, every genre has its own DNA, its own unique rhythm and structure, and they were writing without understanding any of it. It's kind of like trying to navigate a new city without a GPS. Yeah, you're moving, but you are completely and totally lost. Okay, so you might think that period of being lost was a waste, but it wasn't. Not even close. In fact, it led to the most important part of this whole journey, starting to ask the right questions. So here's the crucial point. Every single finished screenplay just opened up a dozen new mysteries. Why did this scene fall flat? Or why doesn't this ending feel earned at all? This confusion, this wasn't failure. This was the essential groundwork for a breakthrough that would go on to shape the next 15 years of their career. And that brings us right to the turning point. This is the moment the writers stopped just creating and started deconstructing. They began actively hunting for answers by analyzing the very thing they wanted to master: movies. This was it. This was the central mystery they set out to solve. Is there some simple, fundamental idea at the heart of every single genre? Some kind of master key that unlocks its entire structure? And the answer, after all that searching, was a huge, resounding yes. The key insight was so simple but so profound. Every single genre is built around a basic core setting. For instance, this slide, which comes from a Korean screenwriting guide, shows the idea perfectly. It points out that a thriller often has revenge at its core, while a melodrama is built around reunion. Getting this was the big aha moment. Let's dig into that a little more, because this is where it gets good. For thriller, the core is revenge. Okay, but why? Well, think about it. A revenge plot automatically gives your hero a powerful motivation, a clear enemy, and a built-in ticking clock. Boom. For melodrama, the core is reunion. That sets up a story of separation, of longing, and of course that huge emotional climax when they finally come back together. Once you find this core concept, you are not staring at a blank page anymore. You have a powerful anchor, a narrative engine to build your whole story from. So this is the path, right here. The journey from total confusion to crystal clarity. And the key takeaway is that it's not about skipping the hard work. No, it's about using that brute force effort to come up with the right questions. And those questions, they're what fuel the deep analysis of the craft, which finally leads you to the foundational principles that make these stories really hit home. Now, let's be crystal clear about something. This isn't about finding some rigid, paint-by-numbers, creativity-killing formula. Not at all. This is about discovering a powerful and incredibly practical tool that can streamline your entire creative process. And this quote from the source material just says it all, doesn't it? This knowledge isn't a cage, it's a key. It is the most efficient, most functional tool you can have for building a story that actually delivers on what the audience expects from that genre. And this really brings us to the most crucial point of all. This idea, it isn't a formula that restricts you, it's a foundation. Think of it like the foundation of a house. It's simple, it's strong, and it provides the essential structure you need to get started. But the house you build on top of it, That can be as unique, as creative, and as personal as you want it to be. So, I'm going to leave you with a challenge for your own work. Whether you're writing a horror, a romance, or a huge sci-fi epic, just take a moment to look past the plot and ask yourself, what is the fundamental, core concept that I'm building this entire world on? Finding that answer, well, it can change everything.